joining me in the hot seat, I am joined by media personality Danilo Acquisto. How are you doing, Danilo?
Very good. How are you?
I'm all good. Now, for those people who don't know you, and they think they know you, who would you say is Danilo in a nutshell?
You can't put me in a nutshell, never do. So Danilo Acquisto is a TV and radio personality. He's an entrepreneur. He's a media mogul. He's very interested in ministry, and he's very interested in upliftment and education. I'm involved on the production stream of a production company based in the Western Cape, developing new concepts for television, as well as producing content that currently exists. And I have my own radio show, and I'm an entrepreneur. Started my first company a couple of years ago, and I'm starting a couple more as I go into my future.
So wow, that's quite a mouthful. where do you find time to do it all?
So I think finding time is not the right answer. It's always making time, I think, is the biggest thing. So I always try and live my life in a complete and utter balance. So there's my church life and my spiritual life, which needs to be implemented into everyday life. There's my work life, which is my 9 to 5 stuff that I end up focusing my time on and splitting my time accordingly. There's my social life with my friends and family and girlfriends and things like that. So you have to kind of find the balance across all spheres as you go, and it's about making the time. So I've set aside one evening every single week that I've left open for friends if I want to have dinners or things like that. 3 evenings I do gym. You just kind of make the time and put it all into this one big schedule.
So if you could define yourself in 3 words, what would it be and why?
So 3 words: entrepreneurial. Reason why? It's just because entrepreneurs mustn't be mistaken for people who make money. Entrepreneurs are people who see problems and find solutions for the problems. So I think I'm always looking for solutions for issues. I'm a solution maker, not a problem maker, and a lot of people are like, oh, but what if? I say, screw that, I want to make a solution for that. So I think entrepreneur is my first one. The second one that would probably describe me is enthusiastic. So I'll always be the energy of any project I work on. I don't want people to feel like they're doing something that's not good and putting in life and energy. And faithful. Maybe that's the wrong word, but faithful, I'm going to choose that. I think in all things that I do, I want to make sure that I'm spreading positively light, love, kindness, peace, goodness, all things that God has sort of given us. I want to make sure that every project I work on has got some similar philosophy to it.
Okay, so now, was there ever a time that you felt like fame is just getting too much for you?
Yes, this is actually one of the reasons why I left being on television. I think it's because people put you in a box of glitz glamour, and they think that your life must be perfect and everything must happen and you must tweet for them and Facebook for them, and you end up becoming someone else's toy. And I think also when you start to work in television, people invite you to events and you start to become a regular face that people see around and a face of influence. And I think that's one of the reasons why I stepped back from television. I think it did get a bit too much where I felt like I wasn't contributing to society. I was just taking. People were just inviting me to things because of who I was, and they were taking photographs of me, and I just felt like I wasn't contributing to your life in any way. So I think after 4 years, I kind of was made more aware of holy moly, there's a way to kind of use your influence for positive, but there's also a way that influence can just become this monotonous walking around smiling at people thing.
You become almost just a model, really. That's all you could become. And I think a lot of people that want to be famous don't necessarily see it that way. They just see the glitz and they just think, really.
Which is not the case at all. I think there's a lot of hard work that goes into it, and I've always had the mindset of never wanting to go in saying, look at me, look at me. I always wanted to go in saying, I want to be the best, I want to be great, I don't want to be average, I want to be the best. And I think if you get caught up too much in the events and the glitz and the glamour side of things, you don't put enough work into the actual work itself, and then you lose that one job, and then what's then? Who then? People forget you. There's a new Danilo who's on television and he's better looking than you, and so then what's your relevance in the world? So to leave an impact.
So how do you define your style in a nutshell?
Oh my gosh. Let's not talk about style. So I actually I never have been quite. My mom has always been she's loved fashion. She's always loved fashion, and so she's been quite a big influence, I think, in just making both my brother and I a little more metrosexual than everyone else would be. And I think I started out with my shorts and t-shirts. It was very, very relaxed, and I kind of went through the phase of needing to impress people. So I think I also, when you start earning more money, you can afford better clothing, so you kind of buy better clothing. And yeah, you know, it's one of those things of becoming independent at such a young age. You want to spend money on clothes and cars and things, and I suppose I've been very good at it. But finding styles, it completely just happens by mistake. You can't go read a magazine and say like, I want to look like this guy, and then go try on his clothes. It literally just became what I felt comfortable in. And then I moved into an edgier phase where I felt like actually I want to start taking some risks. And then so would always turn my eye away from the things that I knew were comfortable for me, and would go and find some weird things that are like leather patches or like cut off sleeves or something. And then I've kind of moved back into more relaxed stuff in summer. So I think it's just about comfort and just where the specific stores you shop will completely influence your style.
And your hairstyle as well, like you.
Oh gosh, okay, this hair, yeah, it's like hard and waxy and stuff. So my hair's gone through many different phases, you know that. My hair's gone through the colourful phases, the short, the long, the whatever it needed to be. I still, to this day, want to continue to experiment with my hair. So it is, I think it's one of the cool things, it grows back, hair grows back, colour it, change it, and I have a really cool hair sponsor, Sauce Hair in Claremont, and they've been very cool about it. So obviously, they go crazy, and I always give them permission to go crazy. I don't go in saying like, give me that haircut. I go in, do whatever, man, have fun. So yeah.
Now that one hairstyle that would be definitely like really sweet to try. That you would really love to try. What would it be?
So it will never work for me because I've got two cow's legs. So I've got a widow's peak and two cow's legs. So I can't ever get that nice hair. But then I'm always envious of these film actors who have that like poof that just goes like whoosh over, and then like undercuts and this like thing that just flows. Like I can't do that. I wish. One day I wish I could do my hair. It's just not gonna happen. So I just keep it standing up and messy because that's the easiest to do.
So a typical day in the life of Danilo, how do you find it?
Okay, keep up. Okay.
Yeah.
So usually I've actually changed my routine now, but usually I'm up at 5:30. Breakfast at like 6:30ish. Definitely have an espresso or a cup of coffee, something Italian. I have to put that into my schedule. Straight, I usually go to gym for an hour in the morning. I'm not sure that to the evening, so I'll go to gym for an hour, and then I'm straight in the office from 8:30. I come to the office. Usually I'll spend the first 2 hours of my morning catching up on my emails from the previous day, or things to be responded to. I will then spend an hour getting ready with my running orders for, if I'm producing for 1899, I'll do all my running orders and preparing for that show. Execution happens, I'll have a meeting on execution for the show of the day, where I get briefed on all the things that are expected from the show. I will then spend another 2 hours in that morning carrying on with my development work. So I will take out, put my headphones in, loud music on, and cut the world out of my life, and I'll sit down and I'll write a 25-page document that I need to prepare in a couple of days. So I'll spend a good 2 hours doing that. When I get called over to studio, I brief my presenters and I brief our director for the day, live director, and I bring all the crew together and we have a debriefing with the crew. Everything gets printed out, scripted, everything. Our director will then run with our presenters, and I'll go and sit and finalize my running orders, all the time slots. So I'll allocate durations to each different link and make sure that the show sits at 48 minutes, make sure it's an hour-long show. Hectic Man will go through all of its rehearsals, and I'll fix errors and brief guests, etc. as the show goes on. And then come 5 o'clock, obviously we're off air, I'll debrief my presenters, and then usually in the evenings I'll spend another hour doing some more emails from the day itself and prepare myself for the next day. 5:30, 6-ish, I'll head on home, make myself some dinner, eat some dinner, and I'll sit down again and usually do some work in the evenings. Depending if I usually set some of my meetings for the evenings too, so all my freelance work that I do, all the production stuff, entrepreneurial things, I'll spend some time in the evenings focusing on those, having meetings, having dinner meetings, preparing some stuff, writing out business plans, getting the whole thing process started. So it's go until I go to sleep at about 11 o'clock, like 5:30, and it continues.
Oh, it's got a mouthful. You've got a workaholic.
Oh, it's not even workaholic, because it is something I love, like it's playing. I enjoy my stuff, so I think it's a lot of playing that I enjoy.
So when you're not working, what do you enjoy doing for fun?
Everyone asks me this. A lot of young people say they watch series. I don't watch series even. I don't have a television. I refuse to buy television because I don't watch it. So for fun, like I will spend some time going on hikes. I love hiking. I love playing putt-putts. I love watching movies. I like ordering dinner in. I like going out and partying. I like going to visit friends, having brides at their houses and having a few too many, and having a good time. So yeah, man, whatever needs to be, I'll always make time for some fun if I can.
Okay, so now the ladies want to know, are you dating anyone?
question's always inappropriate. I haven't been in a relationship for 4 years. While I've been working, moved to Cape Town. I broke up with my ex-girlfriend when I moved. Eventually, at some point, it just wasn't working. And then I have been single for 4 years, and only recently, in the last 3 weeks, have I been in a new relationship. I won't reveal any details, but soon you will see. She's been to a few events with me, so she has shown face before. But it is very new and it is very interesting, and I have a feeling that I'm going to be sick for the rest of my life because I really enjoy what I do too much. But she's been a huge support, and she's been very willing to understand the work that I do. Deep sense of God, so that's been also rad. So yes, there is unfortunately a lady, everybody. But if someone comes along and I close off my feet, life happens.
Okay, so as I was doing research, for the interview, you were saying you're younger, you didn't really fit in. You're all about being different. Why would you say your fans should embrace being different?
Sure. Sure. It's a uniqueness as opposed to more than just difference. A lot of the most successful people in the world, and a lot of the people who have left the most amount of impact, never did anything ordinary. They were never part of the norm. They were never did anything that was regular. People like Nelson Mandela went against what everyone thought he should be. He could have, and he should have actually rebelled. He should have taken he should have taken action against white people in South Africa, but he chose not to. Why? Because he was different. He wasn't a regular kid, and he was born in like a freaking sheep herder. He had nothing for him. Richard Branson had businesses after businesses after businesses that failed and failed and failed. He must have been a sociopath, but went out and started one of the most successful companies in the world. And I've always felt like being different was always something wrong with you, that always not fitting in, not being good at sport, not being good at academics, or not being good at something else made you weird. Like there was something wrong with you that you needed to fix. If you weren't like that, you were deformed. And I think as I got an opportunity to move into the media space and the television space, I started to experience new personalities and started to realize that actually me being ADD and me not fitting in has worked to my advantage in a lot of ways. It's allowed me to think uniquely, think outside of the box. It's allowed me to find passions that people don't have. So I'm passionate about stuff that people absolutely hate, like writing 25-page documents on creative treatments on new television shows. So I think the word
the creative edge
exactly.
People don't have.
Yeah, so I think just being unique is valuable, because I think people in the world are always looking for something fresh, something unique. They're not looking for the run-of-the-mill person. So I really would say, like, to anybody who's feeling like maybe they're not good at academics, or they're not the best sports person, or they like drama or music or something, those passions are what's going to make you stand out at some point in your life. Those are the people who become successful. It's the people who do stand out and move away from the crowd and don't do what they think is normal, and be prepared for the criticism. Because you're going to get a lot of people thinking, you're crazy, like, you're nuts, this is never going to work, you're screwed. Don't let that get you, because I think that's the biggest downfall of entrepreneurs and people who are different. Once they take that move out, oh my word, a whole new world opens up, and you realize, actually, wait, I am damn good at what I do. So yeah, just have faith and keep encouraging yourself.
Anything else you want to add?
So yes, surround yourself with positive people. Surround yourself with people who not necessarily are going to support your opinions. Find people who are going to challenge you. I live 90% of my working life surrounding myself by older generations, people who have gone through things, who've experienced things. I have no scam in phoning up CEOs of big companies. I have no scam in speaking to people who I know are chairmen of some of the biggest and most successful boards that ever existed. Surround yourself with people who are going to be able to advise you from a very, very critical level. Be honest with yourself, but please, just by all means, just be you. Be you, go out, get it. I promise you there's an opportunity for your unique talents out there some way. And if you're uncomfortable, that's probably a sign that you're not in the right place.
Okay, there you have it, guys. For the SouthAfrican.com in Cape Town, I am Rashida.